Hey, what's up everybody? So in today's video, I'll be reviewing one of the most anticipated Jordan sneakers to drop in 2025. And these are the Air Jordan 4 SBs in the white navy colorway. Let's jump into it. So these officially released on April 15, 2025 for a retail price of $225. They were previous releases of this colorway through local skate shops, which is something that Nike typically does when it comes to Nike SBs. Definitely letting the skateboarding community be able to get these through their local shops, which is always a great idea. I was very lucky to get mine through the SNKRS app on release day, which I was extremely surprised. And they actually did a pretty cool thing when it came to the release, also trying to avoid bots. You had to go on the app, look for the sneaker and then tap that and then go to the bottom, I think it was, and then you had to scratch off the image and then you were able to then pass on to the next screen in order to buy the shoe. And I actually forgot when they dropped because I think they released like around 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I totally forgot. It was already like 2:15, 2:20, and when I went in, it was still there. So I went and tried it, and I was super surprised that I still was able to hit on this colorway. Maybe there was a lot of these made, which has also helped with the resale price on this colorway, because right now for like a size 10, they're probably like going for like $270, give or take. So it's a lot cheaper than the pine green that released back in 2023. There's also a friends and family pair, which is the white and red colorway. Some of the special details of these Retro 4 SBs is that Nike and Jordan brand went back and tried to replicate the 1989 cut to, obviously resemble that original pair. They also made some minor modifications to help skaters, use these and be able to feel comfortable when, performing and skating and things like that. Some of the minor modifications that they did was to give these a little bit of a wider toe box. You have a little bit of a thicker tongue, not super thick compared to like a Nike Dunk SB. The tongue on these actually looks and feels very similar to the military blues or industrial blues if you have that pair, but they are a little bit thicker than more of like the OG colorways like a fire red, for example. You're gonna get softer materials. For example, here on the heel tab, on the wings of these SBs is a lot softer, more flexible. On the inside part of the shoe, I thought that you wouldn't get more padding there, but unfortunately, it kind of feels just a little bit softer as far as the materials. Again, very similar to the way the military blues feel, in my opinion. All right, so the shoes come in a custom Air Jordan 4 box, Jumpman Flight logo in a gray color, glossy cream box. You have additional Jumpman Nike SB branding. And when you open the box, you're gonna find the tissue paper with the splatter paint, which is a reference to a regular Jordan 4 box. Here you have the shoes, which is basically a basic colorway, mostly white here on the upper. You do have gray here on the mudguard on the suede material. You have the navy color hits on the midsole, on the eyelids, all the way to the back of the shoe, behind the tongue. And then on the outsole, you have the gum bottom here around the forefoot part, on the heel part of the outsole. And then on the center there, you have the Nike logo in red. As far as the materials and details, the upper primarily is gonna have a similar leather material that you'll find like in a military blues Retro 4. Nothing special here with this leather material that they used. On the front of the tongue, Jumpman Flight logo. Jumpman logo here is in red. The insoles are in red, which is a nice little detail. You have the Nike SB Air branding on the heel part of the insole. On the back of the shoe, and the one detail that most people went crazy when Nike first released the pine greens, here you have the classic Nike logo with the SB there at the bottom. And then this heel tab is a lot more flexible and softer compared to a regular Retro 4. Similar to the wings, as you can see here, they're very soft, very kind of elasticy. And if you compare that to a regular Retro 4, just kind of put them here side by side, just by even moving the shoe, side by side, you notice that on the SB, the wings are more flexible, more softer. And again, that's just, part of the special details for skaters when using the shoe. Also here you have a side-by-side comparison. The toe box may not seem like it's much wider on the SB, but honestly putting them on, you will notice that on the SB you do feel like you have more room compared to a regular Retro 4. I even tried on my Retro 4 Fire Reds and also the Black Cements. The military blue, when these came out, these were supposed to have kind of like similar specifications to the SB as far as overall comfort. So these two here are probably the closest from a regular Retro 4 and the SB. I would say the SB still feels like it's a little bit wider. There's a little bit more comfort there. As far as the inside and how the padding feels, it's pretty much very similar. However, on a Retro 4 Fire Red and a Black Cement, you will notice that on those, the inside does feel a little bit rougher. There's not like a little bit more padding on those compared to these two. So that would also just give you a little bit of improvement with the overall comfort of these SBs. On the outsole, even though it looks very simple, but the hits of the gum bottom here on the front part and then all the way to the heel part of the outsole, it just makes a huge difference overall with this colorway. Super clean here. That looks very nice. I do like that they broke it apart and then they didn't give us a full gum bottom. I think that just looks more special and it looks cleaner in my opinion. And then finally, there you have the Nike logo in red, which is a nice little detail, a nice little pop on this colorway that overall is very basic. As far as sizing with this pair, I mean, most of you guys that are probably watching this video have already bought a pair of Retro 4s. I suggest you go with that same size. There's not much difference compared to these in a regular Retro 4, so just go with your regular size. For example, my regular size is a size 10 and they fit very similar to a regular Jordan 4. My overall thoughts on this pair, as far as the colorway, again, it's very basic, nothing special here, mostly white, navy colors, so it is very basic. Obviously makes it easier to wear, but you know, it's nothing special here with this colorway. Between all three colorways, obviously the friends and family is, you know, super impossible to get unless you're gonna pay crazy prices for the resale price on those. But really it's comparing these and the pine greens, and the pine greens in my opinion are by far the better colorway. It's just, you know, that green just looks nicer, it pops more, and it just looks more special compared to this colorway. One thing that I was actually quite disappointed was with the overall comfort with these. You know, when the pine greens first released, you know, I kept hearing a lot of people rave about how much more comfortable they were compared to a regular Retro 4. So, you know, that definitely built some hype as far as my interest with these SBs, but getting these in hand and putting these on and comparing these side by side as far as the overall feel with like a military blue or an OG Fire Red or Black Cement, honestly, the difference is not really that much. The only, you know, difference that I really noticed with these is that the toe box does feel a little bit wider, so your toes are going to feel a little bit more free, and that will help the overall comfort obviously, but it's not like it's light years away as far as the overall comfort between these and a regular Retro 4. You know, I wish that Nike could have added a little bit more padding on the inside, but again, their focus is still for skaters and how they perform in these, so they're still having to keep that into the equation and not necessarily truly focus for people that are obviously going to wear these for lifestyle. So with that being said, let me throw these on and show you guys how they look on feet. All right guys, so that's it for me. Hopefully this video brought you a detailed look of the Air Jordan 4 SB in the white navy colorway. Let me know in the comments below what you think about what Nike did here with the collaboration with Nike SB, and between the two colorways that we were able to get, the pine green and the navy colorway, which one is your favorite one? And like always guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for all the new subscribers. If you're new, stopping by for the first time, please feel free to subscribe, like the video, comment below. I will really appreciate that. Also follow me on Instagram at Guy in Kicks. That's it guys. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.